phase, thank you, Aaron, we tell them contextually, okay, we're at phase 2. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what you can expect. Are you good with that? We're going to keep moving on, okay? Because, look, let's just be really honest right now, you guys. A lot of you guys are just doing stuff. You're just creative. Like, I'm going to draw a logo. I'm really good at that. There's no process. There's no formal procedure. You don't communicate that. You don't outline that in a contract or a proposal. So you're going to get what you get. This is going to happen. It's going to happen every single time.
I went on through with all the keywords. Like, I did go through the process. We put all the keywords, but he's picked the logo that is not really related. Like, so yes, it was wrong. It was wrong of me to present the one that didn't really fit the keyword. So okay, I take that. But then I don't want to go through. I don't want to really. I don't want him to decide on that, because that's at least that's at the end of the day going to be my work, and it's going to be up in the world. And I want him to pick the right one, like a better one.
Okay, but you know what?
Should I just?
What kind of car do you love?
Card?
What kind?
Huh?
What kind of car do you love?
What do you mean card? A
car.
car.
Like a brand. A car brand.
Audi.
A car. What kind of brand of car do you
Audi.
like?
I like Audi.
You like Audi. Do you like BMW?
Yeah.
Do you like Chevy?
Yeah.
You do like Chevy?
Yeah.
All right. Tell me a brand that you hate. A car brand.
Oh my God.
Kia.
You like Kia?
Kia. Okay.
Okay. Let's just say I'm a Kia dealership. Okay. And you come in there, and there's a lot of different brands that you can pick from. And the whole time, I'm just sitting there saying, you know, this Kia would be great for you. You would love this Kia the whole time. You have to ask yourself, who is the client here? Are you the client, or the person who's giving you the money? So what I love and what I prefer has nothing to do with anything, okay? I want to understand a business problem. I want to make my clients happy. I want to be paid a lot of money to make my clients happy, okay? And how I do that is I have a process, and I try to present work that attracts a certain kind of client. Now you'll notice if you make a lot of pies, like I don't know, key lime pie, a lot of your customers are going to want pie, right? They just want what you put out there. But if you're like an amazing fine dining restaurant, they just want great food. They want an experience, and that's the kind of thing I try to sell instead of just the food item itself. Okay? A lot of you guys think you're selling the product that you make, but you're in fact selling a process. When you get that, you'll be in a whole different realm, different stratosphere, different tier of designer. So currently, you're selling what you make. Focus on selling the process. Okay? All right, I think our 5 minutes are up, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Scott, who's up next?
Thank you.
Okay, we have Lofton. Lofton KH.
Dude, I know you want to hit the sounds, but
thing.
go talk to Otto. He's got the iPad.
Where's the iPad? Where do you want to put the sounds, man? There's so many opportunities. Let me get it.
Aaron's getting fired up here, you guys. I've never seen him as fired up right now.
Okay, no worries.
Can
I'm excited about it, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Otto dropped the ball on that one. Okay, next.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right, let me read my question. It says, everyone is saying you need to pick a niche.
Hey, what's your name?
Kim.
Introduce yourself.
Kim
What's your name?
Kim Lofton.
Kim? Hi.
Yep. Hi, how are you?
Great. Ask your question.
Okay, it says that everyone is saying that you need to pick a niche. Would this only apply to solo designers? As a larger firm, do you cater to a specific niche, or do you target clients based on budget size or something else? My target audience is women-owned solopreneurs.
Okay. So you want to know why you should pick a niche? Is that right?
Correct. Or if you agree with that.
I agree with it. Now, let me tell you guys something. If you got so much work you don't know what to do with yourself, you don't need any of my advice at all. Chances are, if you're watching this show, you're trying to get to that place where you can support your lifestyle, you can save up some money, you can pay down some debt, and ultimately maybe buy a house or help out your mom or dad or something like that, okay? Assuming that's the case. So now what we have to do is we have to make it easy for people to figure out what the heck we do. Forget the term you want to put on a niche, a focus, T-skill, it doesn't really matter. I need to be able to figure out what you do really quickly, because I've said this many times before, we are information heavy and we're short on time. We're time poor, okay? So when you guys go to the store and you look for something, you typically already know what you're looking for. If you're looking for a brand of shampoo, it's like, you know, a body spray, a cologne, an MP3 player, a beverage. Like when you think of coffee, what brand do you think of?
Cafe Bustelo.
Say it one more time.
Cafe Bustelo.
Okay, that's a little bit niche. I don't know that. Okay. And then if we just keep going down, so your mind is, okay, I'm gonna get into a little physiology here and hope I don't screw this up. Okay. Our bodies are wired to preserve calories. We don't want to expend calories unnecessarily, okay? Because it wasn't that long ago when there was not enough food to eat. Okay, it's only in the last 100 years that there's like food and plentiful stuff. We don't ever have to starve anymore. Okay, so you notice in a lecture hall when a professor is speaking and it's really boring, you don't feel engaged. What happens to you? You fall asleep. And you're falling asleep because your body is trying to preserve calories. Your brain says, this is not important. I'm not going to die, okay? And a tiger's not coming at me, and nothing that's being said is going to impact my life. So you start tuning out. And then they say something like, you know, the next thing I'm going to say is going to help you make $1 million. Guess what happens? You tune back in, okay? Now, if you understand that when you're out there in the world and I'm looking for a designer, a person who's going to work with women solopreneurs or whatever, I want to be able to find you easily, okay? And it makes it a lot easier when you focus in, when your content, when your SEO and all the the keywords and everything that you're putting out says, I am for you. I want to champion female solopreneurs in a certain space, and you can dominate that space, okay? When I think of an electrolyte water, I think of smart water. When I think of coconut water, I think of raw coconut. So I'm not sitting here thinking about every single brand in the world. I'm just thinking about the ones that I connect with. And if you do that, it will make it a lot easier in your life to get more customers. And if that's what it's about, that's how you need to decide it, okay? We good?
Thank you, yes.
You're welcome. Okay, Scott, who's up next?
Okay, we got Derek up next.
Thanks, Scott, for doing this, by the way. Maybe you get a question in here, too. But before we do that, before Derek comes online, let's take a question from Facebook or YouTube. Do we have anything, Aaron?
No, I'm not monitoring it because of the problem we had. I don't want to, overpower my computer, so I'm not.
Don't do that.
Wait, actually, hold on, we got one.
All right. Use your iPhone, dude. Go ahead. Aaron's just saying ask better questions. He's not going to read your question if it's not a good question. I'll be monitoring YouTube as well. Okay, Scott, go ahead. You can say something. Scott, what do you want?
I'm kind of a fly on the wall right now.
Okay, that's cool. Then you don't need to do anything. So we're going to go back to Derek. Is that right?
Yeah, Derek.
Derek.
Hey, Chris, how's it going? Thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So I work for a full service video production company. We're not freelancers. There's about 4 of us, so we're pretty small, and we serve both clients direct to brands, like directly dealing with clients, and then as well directly with agencies. And it's about 50-50 split right now. We've definitely enjoyed working with agencies that handle a lot of the clients' needs and stuff and filter that through to us to kind of just be able to execute their vision and help them along with that. So we're really looking for the next year, 6 months to a year, to expand that side of things and kind of expand out of our market. We're doing really well locally, but we want to kind of expand our radius to be more 3 to 6 hours around us. So I'm just wondering, from your perspective as an agency who is handling everything on the digital side of things, what are you looking for when you're hiring out to companies and to freelancers who specialize in certain areas, like for us, full production services, and as we're presenting to agencies, like what would you be looking for during those meetings, or how we're forming those connections from going not on.
All right, Derek. Slow down a second here. Aaron, can you do me a favor and close your door a little bit? Every little noise you make in the other room is distracting to me. It's okay. All right. Guys, you have to ask my internet connection is unstable. Is there too many people tuning? All right, I'm gonna turn this off. Forget about that. All right. You got to get me to the question much faster, okay? Because every time you're talking, it's like I have limited RAM in my brain. So as it fills up, I'm trying to like, okay, where's the question? I'm just listening for the question, okay? So let's get to the question. Ask the question first, guys. Go ahead, fire away. What's your question?
From an agency's perspective, what are you looking for in a company that you're hiring for a specialized service? For my company, it would be video production services.
Okay. I'm still not clear what you're
I think I can jump in here and clear this up right here.
Jump in and clear it up.
Okay, so let's say you guys blind need to hire, what do you call it? Like a third party to do the job.
Okay, you think that's what he's asking?
Outsource.
Okay.
You need to outsource.
Are you asking an outsource question?
Yeah.
Derek? Like what kind of, who do I pick to outsource work to?
Yes, as an agency looking for a specialized service, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna just jump in on this a little bit, okay? And hopefully I can teach you something here, if you don't mind. I think you want to unpack all these terms and adjectives. Just get really to the raw and speak to me like I'm a 5th grader. Like, I need help, brother. I need to hire other people to do work for me. What criteria do you use? I don't need like specialized service, client direct. None of that really actually matters because it's actually all the same, okay? So when you're speaking to your clients, learn to speak very simply and get to the point. Be very direct. You're gonna see it's gonna do wonders for you, okay? Don't get into the jargon and the commas and all the stuff, prefacing everything. It's just too much. So Derek's got a really good question. Like, he's growing, he needs more help. And how does he pick the right person or people to work with? Great, I can answer that question, I think. Okay, here's how we do it. And then you map along, you can follow up with another question if you'd like. The way we do it is very simple. I look at work all the time. So I used to do this a lot more. I would spend hours every single day filtering people who want to work with us. Or I'm scouring the internet for really talented people, okay? And sometimes they come to you, sometimes you go to them. If I'm on Behance and I see somebody's work that's really great, I just follow them, okay? And I just make a note. And if they're really, really good, I collect their information, put into a database that I can search later with keywords. Like, what do they do? It's an animation company, or it's a solopreneur. I just write some notes, like they do a very flat style, or they do some really killer Cinema 4D work, okay? So now I can come back to it when I need it. This is the key. This is like the 3 Little Pigs story, right? The pig who spent the time to build a brick house instead of a straw house took a lot longer time, wasn't out in the field playing, but when the wolf came, his house was super solid. So when you're looking for talent to work with, the time to look for them is actually months, if not years ago, that you're constantly refreshing your database of people that you can work with. And you're keeping notes too. You can do a simple thing that I do. I tag each designer or outsource, a company I can outsource work to, with a $, $1 or $3. So I know big budget projects, I want the big guns to come in. That's a $3 company I'm going to outsource to. Oh, you know what? This is a solopreneur working in a country that cost of living is not very high. It's a $1 symbol. And then I also do the same thing with stars. Is this a 1-star designer or a 3-star designer? Now, you might think that's pretty harsh, Chris. Why is they're 1 star? Well, everybody that's even on the list is amazing to begin with. But I try to delineate. So ideally, I would get a 3-star designer for a $1 price tag, right? You get the best talent and you pay the least, and you're trying to find those gems. And there are a lot of people out there who are really creative, can do amazing things, but just don't have the opportunity. They live somewhere where there's no work, or they don't know how to market themselves, or all that kind of stuff. Okay, hold on, buddy. I'll get to that, thanks. Maybe you can sit in the room if you want. Okay, so that's one thing. So now, if I feel like I want to work with it, I'm gonna reach out to them. Tell me a little bit about your process. How do you work? And you're going to be the client in this case. You're going to ask them, do you do 2 revisions, or what are your payment terms? So you get a good feeling for who they are, so that ultimately, if they make you feel good, you can hire them. Okay, I'm doing a lot of that work up front. And now here's the critical part. I want to tell you guys this. If you're going to outsource work, you need to charge probably 3 or 4 times more than that person is going to charge you just to do that one task. Why is that important? One is you need to make money. You're taking on a lot of risk, because guess what? If that designer, if that illustrator, if that animator doesn't work out for you, you're totally screwed. You probably pay them half up front, right? Because I asked for half up front, and if it doesn't work out for you, you don't pay the second half. You're like, you know what, this isn't working. Now you're in panic mode and you're going to find option 2, option 3. And believe it or not, we've done this before. We've hired whole teams of people only to find out that none of it worked, and we hired a totally different company to do the work for us. And if we didn't put enough money in the budget, we would have been upside down on the job. We would have been paying to do the work. And that's really critical. So protect yourself in that way, okay? So if something is going to cost you $200 to make, you should be charging $1,000 for it or something like that. Is that clear?
Yep.
You have a follow-up question?
I think you were talking about from the perspective if I was outsourcing, but I'm the one who's looking to be on your radar.
Oh, you want to be on our team?
Radar.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So you're when you say you're talking about me and not yourself. Okay.
Correct.
All right. How do you get on our radar? First, you need to present your work in the way that we need to see it. So you're a video production company, you said?
Correct.
Okay. You need to show me some amazing video work that you've done, and you want to tell me a little bit about your process, and then you got to get on my radar. So how do you do that? You can reach out to me via LinkedIn. You can email me directly. You can send me a little something in the mail because I'm more likely to open it. Something very simple, catches my eye. You know, basic like self-promotional things do work, and you just have to think about how you're going to get in touch with me, okay? Me personally, I'm out there all over the place, and I'm reading and interacting with people all the time, okay? And so I'm more likely to find you. But if you're looking for more people like me, which you should be doing, they're not always out there, so you have to kind of figure out a strategy and target each person, okay? And that's critical. Otto, can you do me a favor and close that door? Not close it, but just, okay. Here's the thing, and I mentioned this last time, for you guys that are listening, don't let the first interaction with me be about you pitching your services. That turns me off. Okay? There's a lot of developers that they friend me on LinkedIn. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I'll accept your invitation. Next thing you know, it's like I got to chat with them, and they're like, oh, we do development. We do all these kind of, you know what? You know how many of those things I see? And what I'm going to do now is I'm debating about whether I should delete and block you. Establish rapport. Now, for those of you guys that haven't done so, I'm telling you right now, you do need to go and look at the live stream that I did with Eli Cohen about sales strategy. The first thing that you should do is be curious. Find out about the person. What are their problems? What are their goals? What are their challenges? What are they trying to do? Solve a problem. Don't come in there and sell. So if you're trying to talk to me, try to find out more about me. What are my pain points? What are my challenges? What am I trying to get done? If you can solve that problem, then you would tell me, I think I might have a solution for you. Okay? All right.
Great.
Let's move on. Okay, thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
Who's next?
We have Lisa Teams or Timus. I'm not sure how to say the last name.
Okay.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Lisa.
This is really intimidating.
Don't be intimidated. I'm just another guy on the internet, man.
So thanks for taking my question. So I guess one of my biggest struggles recently has just been, I think I prepare well for a meeting, but if I'm kind of caught off guard with a question or something, how to justify a design decision, and just in general getting better at kind of justifying my design. I would love to know, like, if there's any, exercises or anything that you use to get better at that.
Okay. Do you work in-house? Do you work for yourself?
I do.
Which one?
Oh, sorry, I work for myself.
You work for yourself, so you're actually talking to the client, not somebody you're reporting to. How do you
Right.
justify your design? Okay. I don't like the word justify. It means like you're trying to prove, you're trying to convince, you're trying to argue with the client to pick something that they don't want to do. Okay? And if you follow the principles that I've outlined for you, you will never have to justify your design. Your designs come from a place of understanding the client's problem, their issues, their needs, their customers' needs, etc. Okay? So can you give me a situation that, what kind of field of design are you doing? What, you make logos, websites, what do you do?
Mostly interactive, so
Interactive,
websites.
so websites? Okay, so you make websites. Are you formally trained?
Yes.
Okay. So you go to your client and you present them a website design. Is this the first time they're seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, so you see there's some problems already. Okay, what we want to do is we want to enroll the client in our creative process. We want to make them feel like they're collaborators and not just final decision makers, okay? And when there's this thing called the Ikea effect. Have you heard of the Ikea effect? You know what that's about. So I'm going to explain it for some people who don't, okay? The Ikea effect is that because you have to build your own furniture and you spend hours putting together a table or a bookshelf, that you fall in love with the things that you make. Does everybody understand that? You fall in love with a $50 shelf. You become emotionally attached because you work on it. This affects you. When you work on a beautiful website or a logo, you spend hours and hours, and it's like you convince yourself this is the most amazing. I love my own work. You know, that's what you're saying. Okay? Well, wouldn't it be wonderful if the clients felt the same thing? We love the results because we're involved in building it with you. And the reason why they're so easy to throw stuff away is because you didn't enroll them in the process. So what I would recommend for you then is to say like, okay, first, I'm going to do a competitive audit for you. I'm going to look at who's in your space, who's in your vertical, and then I'm going to look outside your horizontal and just see what else people are doing, some innovative interfaces or a way that they're doing the messaging or the look and feel of their site is really nice, right? Or the structure is really cool or the nav bar is really cool. They're like, yeah. So we have a whole conversation about it. And they're like, we like this, we like that. You're really smart. You've done all the work. What's the next step, Lisa? You're like, okay. Let's get into some wireframes. Let me block it out. It's going to be a little ugly, but here's the summary of all the parts and pieces that we talked about. I'm going to put it together for you. Oh, yeah. It's still a little rough, but I get where we're going. Next, I'm going to do a little visual design for you. And prior to that, I'm doing like a design palette, a mood board. So we're putting all these things together. So I find out from the client, oh, you like Spanish food, like from Spain, and you have a shellfish allergy, and you're trying to watch your weight. So I'm going to bring something out that fits that criteria, so I don't ever have to justify because the clients made the decisions with me the entire way. It's a different way of working than how most designers are trained, and when I say most designers, including myself. This is something I learned from my good friend Jose Cabala, and this is how we apply our entire process and methodology. We bring the clients in the design process. We start with discovery and strategy, and we go through every stage that's important for them. And then I go in with the team, go do the work. Okay? Does that help you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I definitely do a bit of the process already. Would you bring them in on the actual design process? So like after wireframing, would you show them drafts or like, well, I guess you would have like the color and type palette already picked out and all that. But would you show them drafts of the design, or would you wait until you have like a pretty solid mock-up in place?
I never want to go too far without getting the client buy-in, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because whenever you do something new, it's hard for us to adjust to that thing. So giving them multiple exposures to it allow them to become more comfortable, and ultimately you want them to become your champion. If you're not working with a final decision maker, which a lot of us are not, right? If you're not working with the CEO, you want another ally on the other side of the room. You want the marketing officer or the art director that's in-house to love you, to support you, to champion you, to believe what you believe. So you have a shared vision and you're working together. So an analogy or metaphor is, you know, under that raw slab of marble is this amazing sculpture. And every once in a while, I'm going to pull the curtain back and say, this is kind of where we're at. We can make adjustments here, and it's not costly, and it won't take long. But once we get to the final part, I can't put back stone that doesn't exist. Okay, so I like to take as many iterative steps. We call it scaffolding. Other people call it different things. Tony Robbins calls it chunking. Chunk it into smaller pieces, and then you get to the final thing. Okay? It's up to you to determine how many chunks, and some clients want more, some clients want less, and just try to find a happy medium there. Okay? All right, thanks for your question. Yeah, I wasn't too scary, was I?
No.
No, see? I'm very friendly. There are no claws here. All right, thank you very much. Let's go to our next person. Who is it? And do we have a question from YouTube or Facebook?
I've been sending you them on Zoom.
Okay. One from YouTube. Okay, Mark first, and then Otto. Okay, and you're sending to me via text message?
On Zoom. Your Zoom messages.
Oh, I can't read that in the middle of all this stuff. Thanks, buddy. So you just read it to me or something. Okay, Mark, fire away. What's the question?
Okay, question from YouTube is from TomTac98. He's asking, as a graphic designer student, how do I get into strategy?
Okay, how do you get into strategy? He's a graphic design student?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Tom, thanks for your question. It's going to take a little while for you to go from being a design student to becoming a strategist. The first thing is to realize that this is what you want to do, and you need to start to learn about business principles. And I would recommend reading a couple of books, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 books to read. I think it's 3. The first one I'm going to have you read is the Value Proposition Design book by Strategizer, okay? And if you go on our book list, I think I'm working on a new book list, we'll send you the link, okay? Number 2 is a book called Creative Strategy and the Business of Design. It's written by Douglas Davis. It's an excellent book. And okay, I'm going to give you a bonus here. I'm going to give you 2 more books to read. I would strongly recommend you read Win Without Pitching Manifesto by Blair Enns. Excellent book, and it's an amazing resource to kind of help you recalibrate how you think about design and creative services. The last book's it's a very simple book to read. It's the 101 Things I Learned in Business School, and it's written by Michael Prey, I think. No, that's not his name. I forgot his name already. Okay. It's an excellent book. It's a good primer, and I think you need to start thinking about marketing and business and a little bit less about design, okay? And that's the best advice I got for you. Otto, what's your question?
So if you have a large social following,
yep.
How do you target and engage your business leads, your big business leads?
Okay. Okay, so Otto said somebody had asked about if you have a large social following, how do you engage your big business leads? Okay, well, this really depends. Who is following you right now? Is it your clients? So I doubt that's the case. So if you're a great photographer and you put out amazing photos, chances are the majority of the people that are going to follow you are people that are interested in photography as a hobby, that are inspired by you, so they're amateur photographers, or they just like this lifestyle that you're doing. That is not intersecting with your clients at all. So you have to kind of think about the audience and who your clients are and if there's intersection. Sometimes there is. So for example, if you are an architect, and I have a friend, and he's an architect, and he has a massive social following on Instagram because he posts really beautiful photos of great architecture and interior design throughout his travels, right? So who looks at this feed? It turns out a lot of wealthy people look at these feeds, and he winds up becoming friends with them, and they wind up becoming clients. So you're gonna have to think about that. Now that may not be possible for you to turn your social following into big clients. That may not be possible. If you look at Jonathan Rudolph over at Logo Inspirations, he's got like 400,000 followers. I assume most of them are aspiring designers. So how does he convert that into money in his pocket? Well, he does affiliate promotion, and that's how he generates money. So you don't necessarily have to make everything one thing. Just think about your audience, serve them well, and give them more of what they need, and you can live a pretty good life just by doing that. Okay, let's go over to our next person.
Wait, there's a question. Somebody made a donation, so I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
From Sam H, she says, as an industrial design student, we are required to put up a bio board / visual identity to go along with our weekly work. If my name is too foreign and prefer not to use my initials, what other options can I consider?
Okay, you're an industrial designer, and you need to present a visual identity, and you don't like your name. Well, you can make up any name. Frank Gehry was not born Frank Gehry. There's a lot of people out there who've changed their names so that it's a little bit friendlier for media and for pronunciation. You could design that. You can come up with a fictitious name or work with some initials, and that'll work too. You can create a little icon for your company, and you can work off that. Okay, you don't need to use your name. Just use what works the best. Okay, make it easy to pronounce, easy to remember, easy to spell. That's the most important thing. Okay, we're going back to Zoom. All right, who are you, and what's your question? Scott, who's up next?
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was muted. We have Mark up next.
Okay.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Good morning. I've got a problem with clients ghosting on me after the first call. I'm a web designer, and I'm scheduling a paid road mapping session, and then they just disappear. I try and schedule follow-ups on the call, but I always get the runaround. What do you do to help prevent this from happening to you?
The disappearing client. He's like Casper. Okay, I like that. What is your name again? I didn't catch it at the beginning.
It's Mark.
Mark. All right, Mark. Mark's question. After the first meeting, they're gone. They're gone in 60 seconds. So I have to ask you, what's happening in the first meeting? What are you doing?
It's incredibly consultative. I'm usually asking 10 to 12 different questions about kind of what their business strategy is, what the underlying problem is I'm solving. I've been told it's a little bit too intimidating though, and that the questions are a little too intimate for perhaps the first call. It might be scaring people away, I'm not sure.
Okay, that is really odd that that's the case. I find that, do you record your meetings?
I don't, I'm thinking of starting though.
I think you need to, because your impression of the meeting may be very different once you view it back, okay? And I had a really great conversation with Ian this morning, the Logo Geek guy, and he was saying that he's doing podcasting and he's not always comfortable and he's super nervous when he does the podcast. But when he listens back to the podcast, he's like cringing a little bit because he's like, I'm so focused on asking my questions and not listening and following up on an answer that I need to change that, okay? So I think for you, what I would recommend you do is record your own meetings, review it, like after every football game, they review the tape and they learn things from reviewing the tape. I would be dumbfounded if you actually asked some really great questions and you were really curious about the answers, why the clients would disappear. Because usually people don't run away from people who are very curious about their business. That's what I'm assuming. Now, when you say they disappear after the first meeting, are you sending a proposal and then they go quiet?
Absolutely not. No, I'm scheduling a paid road mapping session, right? Most of my projects are $20,000, $30,000, so I want to get them in on a $200 road mapping session first. It's a really easy way to bring them in.
Okay, so do they pay for that first session already?
Yeah, they do. I've had a few of them so far, but the problem is I send a link to set up the meeting. I just never hear back from them. I'm saying on the call, please just tell me why you don't want to work with me. If you're going to disappear, I don't say it like that, but I try and say that.
I got it.
But they still completely disappear.
Okay, great. Mark, so I'm going to just share with you a little bit about how we do what we do and then the results we get, and then maybe you can figure it out because I'm not spending time with you studying your calls, right? So here's the first thing. When I do discovery with my clients, they're in for a commitment of a minimum $30,000 and up. So that what you're doing for $200, we're doing for $30,000, right? And after that meeting, there's like warm and fuzzy feelings all throughout the room. Like you're doing high level thinking, this is what we've always wanted to do. You helped us learn about what our mission is and you've given us clarity. You've given us everything that we need in terms of our teams to move forward. Thank you so much. And I followed up with a summary document and we continue working with them. So usually for me, after we do discovery, the scope of the project expands and so does the budget. So there's something there. Now we all have frameworks, right? Some of us have more sophisticated frameworks, different questions that we ask. Some of us have more simple frameworks, like what do you want? That could be a framework. Not a great framework, okay? Because it puts all the work on the client and none of it on you. So I would say that maybe you need to spend a moment looking into other frameworks and the value proposition design book. Have you read that book?
I haven't, no.
Okay, I would say I would go check it out. Okay, I would tell you to go buy our products, but our products are much more expensive than that. Okay, but they're written differently and they're better designed, in my opinion. But go check out the value proposition design book. You're going to spend about $20. You're going to see the kind of questions they ask, what they're looking for, and that might help you. Okay, so I think you need to retool the kind of questions you're asking, but $200 is a very little commitment. Now, I want to say this too, and this is going to shock some of you guys. Oddly enough, sometimes there's a perception of value based on how much something costs. Okay? There's a perception of value based on how much something costs. When you charge a client $200 and you spend 45 minutes with them, they think, well, that's $200 worth of information. If you do the exact same session and you charge $2,000, like, wow, that was $2,000 worth of information. So I suspect it's a couple of different things. One, let's develop your framework, learn from others that are doing it better than you today. And there's a lot of that stuff out there. If you just look on the internet, most of it's free, okay? And you don't even need to buy the value proposition design book. If you go to the Strategizer website, if you give them your email, you can download almost the entire book for free. They have like 20 different PDFs, you can just download it, okay? So go check that out. The other thing is maybe, just maybe, how you positioned, and that could be price, it could be how you're coming across on your website. If you can demonstrate to them results from other discovery sessions that have yielded some really quantifiable results. If you can do that, that's gonna really cement it for you, okay? All right, Otto, we got another question?
Yeah, so someone said...
Okay, hold on, what are you saying? Too dark? Aaron's saying I'm too dark? Okay, go ahead.
Someone said that they've raised their prices now, and now they're not getting as many clients.
Yep.
So how should they have raised their prices?
Okay, so just because you guys probably couldn't hear Otto, somebody had asked, I've raised my prices, but now I'm not getting as many clients. So what am I doing wrong? Actually, you're not doing anything wrong. The point of it is, as you raise your prices, you're going to get fewer clients who are going to pay you more, and this is what you would like to do. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys a rhetorical question, but the answer is pretty straightforward. How many of you guys would like to do one job for one client a year, and that's going to pay you $1 million? Now, if you're not raising your hand right now, you're crazy to me. And some of you guys, oddly enough, every once in a while there's a person who's like, I'd rather do 1 million jobs for $1. Okay? So you're supposed to get fewer clients. So the question is the rate of attrition in terms of like how quickly the clients drop off as you raise the prices. You have to do this in a delicate way. You're going to find that existing clients will find it hard when you raise your prices because they're used to working with you in a certain way. And you should drop most of them. Some of them will stick around because you've been able to demonstrate and prove value, and they see value in good design. You will get most of your growth in attracting new customers. And the new customers have no idea what you used to charge, so it's just normal for them, okay? So that's what you're gonna do. So my recommendation is when you're looking to raise your prices, just double it. So if you're charging $200 to do discovery, charge $400. That's a pretty small gap. Just jump that. And the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go from 400 to 800, 800 to 1600, and you will get there. Now, if you're impatient like me, I just go from 0 to 10,000, 10,000 to 30, and we just keep going up, all right? But that's how I do it. All right. Okay. We have a question from Aaron or no?
I have a question.
Hold on. No? Okay. Back to Otto.
Here. Have you ever taken a small project with little to no payment upfront, but then get promises of potential royalties in the future?
Yeah. So the question is, have I ever taken on projects that offer little to no payment upfront, only to offer royalties and some big payday at the end? And the answer is very, very seldomly do I do that. The only people I do that with are people I trust explicitly, because I'm not going to send a forensic accountant to go in and dig up the numbers. I have to just trust them that they're going to pay. And so I generally tend to shy away from that unless they come highly recommended from somebody else that I trust and have a relationship with. Otherwise, I need you to pay me up front. And even if there's a back-end deal, I still need you to pay me up front. I'll just reduce my rates a little bit, okay? And I'm invested in the project. So you know you have my heart and my mind thinking about your project, and that's what the royalty is for. Okay, let's go on to the next person. You know what? It's 12:15. We got started a little bit late, but let me try to do this, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the grid here. All right. Does anybody in this group, we're gonna take Scott off the hook here. I see all of you guys. What do you guys want to talk about? Okay, I see somebody there. Imagine Magic. Dude, you just gave me the signal. You get to go on. So what do you want to talk about, dude?
Yeah, hi.
I need a little more volume on this. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I can barely hear you, man.
Now?
Okay, I can hear you better now. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, okay. I got a mic closer.
Okay, hold your mic there. Go.
Wanted to ask you if you.
What's your real name?
What?
What's your name?
Wait a second, please. 1 second.
Okay, I want to know your name.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but what's your name?
Yeah, I can hear too. Great. My name is Stas.
Stas?
I'm from Ukraine. Stas, yeah, I'm from Ukraine.
Okay, excellent. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Third time, maybe. Wanted to ask some intimate question.
Ooh.
When you are having a choice of making something that maybe would be worse of taking it, but you don't know if it will be good or will be bad, or staying at the present where you have, I don't know, good results, good money, and etc. What do you choose?
Oh, I'm not clear about your question. I'm supposed to choose between one of two things, right, Stas?
Yeah, going and risk, or standing on the present but stable.
Oh, what do I choose? Well, you're asking the wrong guy. I choose risk all the time. And you have to kind of measure risk versus reward, okay? If something is going to pay you 4, 5, 10 times more than what you're gonna do today, and it requires a certain amount of risk, I'm gonna take it. But if it's gonna pay you 1.1 times more than what you're doing today, maybe that risk is not worth it, okay? But I'm going to tell you this. Anytime you guys think about an opportunity, it doesn't matter if it's a job or anything like that. If the opportunity is going to help you to grow, to learn, even if it pays you less, I'm going to encourage you to take that path. If you chase the money, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to realize, I hate what I'm doing, I hate my life, I have not grown, and then one day those people are going to lay you off because you're not passionate about what it is that you're doing, and you're going to be stuck. You're going to have a portfolio or a body of work that's 3 years old, and nobody wants you. This is a very common mistake that young people make. They chase the money. What I want you to do is chase the growth. Where will you learn the most from? And I want you to be super careful when you're doing this. Do your due diligence and ask lots of questions, okay? So a lot of times we walk around with these happy ears. We just hear whatever it is we want to hear. So the company does amazing work. There's amazing creative people there. And you assume they're going to take you under their arm and teach you and shepherd you along the process, okay? And if you don't ask those questions, like how would it work? This is where my concerns are. Can you outline can you tell me an example of a different time where somebody else has gone through the same process? How has it worked? How does it fail? Ask lots and lots of questions, because on the other side is that other company. They're not as successful. They don't have big name people behind them, but they're really about mentoring and helping people to grow. So while the other company brings you in, chews you up, and throws you out because you couldn't make it, this other company is gaining steam every single day. But now 2 years later, they're not interested in you anymore. Okay, I'm not giving you some hypothetical thing. This has truly happened. I've witnessed this firsthand. Hot young prospect comes out of school. I'm thinking, wow, you do amazing work and we want to hire you. This person instead decided to chase the money. 2-3 years later, after the company went belly up, they come out and they're like, hey, I need help. What do you think? Can we work together? I know you're really interested before, but 3 years is a really long time. I've already filled those positions. I've already changed. I've already grown. I don't have a position for you anymore. And these people, I don't know what happened to them. They disappear. So that's how you go from hot to not really fast. Chase the money. Personally, you're going to lose every time. You have a follow-up question?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, super. All right. All righty. I want to get some new faces on here. Okay, this guy's making a lot of movement here. All right. Okay, these guys are going bananas on me. So I'm going to unmute you, dude. I can't read your name. Is it Nabil?
Yeah, it's Nabil.
All right. How come I can't hear these people? All right, brother.
Can you hear me?
Okay, how do you say your name?
Nabil.
Nabil? Okay. Where are you from, man?
Yeah. I'm from Kenya.
Kenya,
Africa.
excellent. Welcome to the show. What's your question?
Thanks. So basically, how do I change the perspective of my clients? Because, you know, it's a third world country. And most of them are stuck in the past times.
Yeah, I get it. How do you change the perspective of your client? Very common question. I get this question asked all the time. It's not easy to change the perspective of your client. I don't have any kind of magical powers. I can't make you think anything more than what you want to think, right? Now, if I'm really good and I'm very persuasive, I can ask you a few questions that make you think and question your own decision-making process. But that's a lot of training for me to try to help you do that. I think I would ask you to take the path of least resistance. Those of you guys that work in different markets, whether it's Kenya, if you're from parts of India, wherever you're from, try to work with a more global international market that appreciates good design, that's willing to pay for it, okay? I'll give you an example. I had a meeting with my client a couple days ago, and during the meeting, he told me, like, we want to do video, we want to do a bunch of these other initiatives. He says, you know what, that's out of scope. Let's finish this one, and then we'll do a separate job. We'll do a separate bid for this, you know, and I appreciate that. And what's the point? Why am I telling you that story? It's because a different kind of client would try to sneak it all in. They would sit there and say, you know, we need to do this, and they would just keep adding and adding, and then they would force me to say, whoa, 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 we're definitely out of scope here. We need to send you an estimate. A good client already recognizes that and says, you know what, fair is fair, and this is unfair. Now, I can't change whole cultures and the way that people think. Some markets, I'm not going to say which ones, some parts of the country, some parts of the world think a certain way. They think creative services should be beholden to the business owners and just do whatever it is they want, right? I'm the taskmaster and you just make. And don't speak back to me because I'll fire you and I'll replace you with somebody else right away, all right? So it's hard to change that. I'm telling you right now, you guys, if you're in a third world country, if you're in some other place, first, learn to speak English. communicate to an international market, and you're going to get much better clients. They're going to pay you more, treat you more fairly, and you're going to get the kind of exposure and the respect that you deserve, okay? In order to be able to compete in the international market, your work has to look like it's international. It can't look like local, regional stuff. I don't want to hire a regional person, okay? So you want to step onto the global stage, and it's not as hard to do as you think. Look at the companies you respect, emulate their work, and even copy their work. Just try to just do work just like them, literally copy the work, so you get a feel for how they make decisions. Copy their presentations, copy everything. And then the next time you approach a project, some of that will stick with you. Some of that will carry over. Your hand has memory and will remember certain things, okay? All right, I'm gonna move on to the next person. Thanks, man. I'm gonna cancel the spotlight. Let's see who else we can talk to here.
I got a good one from YouTube.
You got a good one from YouTube? Fire away, Mark.
So, Ashwarya Gaikwad is asking, how do you generate passive income becoming graphic designers?
Okay, that's a good question. You want to know how to generate passive income. Passive income. It's the holy grail. Who here doesn't want to make passive income? When you sleep, when you eat, when you do whatever it is you do, when you vacation, you make money, all right? And I love that kind of question, passive income. Now, a lot of people like the idea, but they're not willing to put in the work. They're not willing to learn how to create value for other people, okay? What you have to do is you have to educate or entertain people. Otto, don't do that. You have to learn to educate or entertain people, and then you're going to build a social following. You need to build a social following right now, no matter what you plan to do, whether or not you want to do passive income or not. Build your following, because there's power in the following, okay? Look at you guys. This is an example right now, okay? We have you guys as an audience. I think last I looked, we're at 137 subs. Our Facebook page is over 30,000. And so other people who want to reach you will find value that we have this audience. And that's one way. So you can do it through affiliate programs. You can do it through sponsorships, okay? If you have a big enough following, somebody will say, you know what? I'll cut you in on 50% of every sale you send me. And that's pretty good. So there's design programs, there's tutorials. We do it via Skillshare. I don't know what Skillshare pays us, but they pay us a percentage of every customer who we send their way. And last I checked, it was not a lot of money. It's about $1,000. But that surprised me. That's pretty good. You can do it through, I think, something called Kit. If you have a YouTube channel, you can subscribe to Kit, and you can recommend things for people to buy to produce the things that you make, and they can buy that, and you get a small percentage. That's one way to do it. I like affiliate programs more than sponsorship, because you truly like what they do, and they're willing to value you because they can see a conversion, okay? A conversion is when somebody buys, subscribes, or does something that they want, they pay you. And they pay you a lot more than, say, send random traffic to us, okay? All right.
Something to add to that, Chris.
Go ahead.
What do you think of stock images and animation type sites?
Okay, I love stock. I use stock for everything. And if they had animation templates that I love, I would buy them too. I don't really care. To me, it's not about who makes it, how it was made, or how much it costs. It's really about I have a job to do, and I want to take the most efficient step to get there. A lot of our thumbnails, people are like, oh, how'd you do that thumbnail? Well, I use stock. I just modify it. I'm looking for the right kind of stock because there are millions of images, and I'm using my eye, my sensibility to pick the right one. And I even charge my clients to look for stock images because they're going to save money in the purchase of the stock image, but they're spending money with me. Okay, I'm spending the time to do this. All right, I want to get some women on the program here. Let's get some women on the program. We got too many dudes. All right, any woman wants to ask a question on Zoom? Oh, the women are a little shy now. Otto, you got a question for me?
Yeah,
right.
So they have a possibility of signing a $1 million client account, but they feel overwhelmed because they've never done such a big job. Do they need a business advisor or a lawyer or an outsource to this big agency?
Yeah. Wow. Okay, somebody's watching this channel and they say that they're close to signing a $1 million client, you guys. $1 million client. And they're like, what do we need to do? Like people are, like internet's like minds are blown right now. And they're like, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling anxiety. It's a lot of responsibility, and truly it is. $1 million is nothing to sneeze at, you guys. So like, what do I need to do? All right, here's what I think you need to do. With $1 million, you can surround yourself with the best people, the most experienced people in doing what it is that you do. I definitely think you need to get an attorney involved. You might get a business advisor. If you don't already have one, you should have been working with one already. If you're playing in the $1 million club, you should have been working with somebody already. But assuming that you haven't, I will look at the thing that you're trying to make, okay? My philosophy on this kind of work is this. I would rather make less money and ensure that the job goes really well and learn from people who've been doing this more than I just want to make money. That's a short-term thing, okay? So let me just clarify that. If I think there's $1 million coming in and I'm going to try to do it all myself, I'm going to make all kinds of mistakes, rookie mistakes. I could totally stress out. I could sabotage the relationship with my client and totally drop the ball. But in the end, I've learned nothing because I'm just doing it myself. I would rather say give half the money away to somebody who's going to be able to help me, to take me through the process, as long as I get to keep the client. That's important to me. So I get to manage the relationship. I get to watch. I get to see their proposals, their decks. Their team is top notch. I don't have to freak out at the last minute when 2 of my guys disappear because they have 30 people working for them. Okay, does that make sense? And and if you're going to make $1 million project, you probably do need to just call me and we'll do a private coaching session. Okay. No women want to ask a question. I see how it is. You're not a woman. Ray, put your hand down, dude. Go on. Gosh, what are you guys tuning in for on Zoom? You don't have a question? People are laughing.
I have.
Hold on. That sounds like a dude. Okay, Yunji, you already got your question in. I'm saying somebody else. Come on.
Mano here, please.
Who?
Here.
Yeah, but you're a dude. Put your hand down. When I call for the dudes, put your hand down, brother. Hold on a second.
Put some girl in full screener and just.
Okay, I'll do it. Aaron's telling me I'm just gonna put somebody on the spotlight. I'm gonna pick you right here.
Roulette.
No, hold on. I'm gonna pick you right here. She doesn't even know I'm picking her.
No, she does.
She does? You're on. You're on live. The whole internet's tuning in. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your
She
question?
already asked her question. She just said.
My name's Aisha, and you guys already answered my question. I was the one who asked the question about higher prices.
Oh, okay.
I guess
where
another question is I'm in California.
Oh, you're in California. Okay.
Yeah. So another question I guess I have is I'm considering starting a YouTube channel to create online classes for the passive income. To teach instructional design to business coaches.
Okay.
And because I'm in the middle of switching my clients over and raising my prices, I'm wondering if that's a good idea to create that, to bring in new clients of people that aren't already in my circle.
I can't answer if it's a good idea or not because I don't know the idea. I don't know what your skill levels are, and I don't know how hard it would be for you to onboard new clients. Only you would know that. So the only question I can ask you back is, why are you hesitant?
I think I'm just intimidated because it's a new group of people that I'm not as connected to, and because I'm raising my prices, they are a higher caliber of people. So my ideal client are business coaches. So they're people like you that are making money, that are teaching, and they want help creating their online courses. So I do instructional design, doing their landing pages, doing their PDFs.
That's super valuable.
Stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing, but I've raised my prices.
Just go do it.
Okay.
Right? Because look, what you're saying is people in the coaching space are busy learning and teaching. They don't have time to build platforms out. They don't, social, whatever. They're already there. So you help those teachers. And I think you can set up a really fantastic business. They're already out there. Your value proposition is super clear. Like, how would you write the document? What would you say to them? Give me your pitch.
My pitch is basically I specialize in doing learning management systems to give you your time and your sanity back.
Okay. It needs a little refinement, but all right, you put on the spot. So you need to do something like that, right? I help you teach more people. Mm-hmm. How does that sound? Work with that, right? That's really what they do. I'm coaching them, teaching, and I'll help you to monetize your coursework, your intellectual property, so that you could have passive income.
Right.
Boom. Go with that.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Somehow you got 2 questions in. Okay. I'm going to pick another random person here. Another girl. Let me see. I cancel this spotlight. Any more questions coming off the internet?
Yeah. Somebody says, do you have any experience in working with Asian clients? Is there any big difference between Western clients and Asian clients?
Yeah, this is a race-based question. I'm going to be carefully treading this question.
Sidestep it.
You say sidestep it, Aaron? I'm gonna just dive straight into controversy right now. I lived life in the fast lane here. The question is this, have you worked with Asian clients before? Is their mentality different? Yes and yes. I assume every mentality in every culture is a little bit different, right? Whether you're Latino, whether you're Japanese, whether you're Chinese or whatever, whether you're American, British, whatever. Everybody brings in a different thing. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We had a call with some potential German clients that had the Audi account, and they were the sweetest, nicest people ever. So, okay, that's how they were. And each one is going to bring something a little bit different. So I want to just say, you just need to be present to the moment, to listen to people, to respect different cultures and process. And if you want them as a client, you need to learn how to speak like they speak. You have to believe in the things that they believe in, okay? Now, if you find out over time that it's not a good fit for you, avoid those clients. That's how I sidestep it, Aaron. Was that all right?
Really good, boss. You know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about me. All right. You know what? I'm going to put Karen on right now. I'm going to unmute you, Karen. Because last time we spoke for like a split second. I'm going to spotlight you, okay? Karen? Didn't you have some question for me on the internet and I didn't answer it or something? I can't hear you, Karen. I unmuted you, but you got to get your mic situation going on here.
Yeah, we have our levels up here.
No, yeah. I think it's on her end. It's not on our end. Karen? We're going to come back to you, Karen.
Next.
Put down your mic.
All right. We're going to cancel your spotlight, Karen. We'll talk to you later, okay? Go figure out your mic situation. I'm going to mute you again. All right, here, Roxy.
Yes, yeah.
Roxy, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, your mic works. Excellent. What's your question?
Okay, so I've been a freelancer for around 4 years already.
4 years?
And I'm thinking about opening some sort of collaboration little studio, maybe just getting freelancers. I've been watching your courses and your talks, not really your courses, just your channel. And is it necessary that I work somewhere before I do this step to open up something, or this is the part that scares me from opening up something for myself?
All right, what's your question?
Okay, so
well, you just told me a lot of things, but I didn't hear a question in there.
Well, I'm just.
You have to take off your glasses to ask me a question. I get it. It's super serious. Go ask the question.
So I'm thinking of opening a studio, right? Like just a person, like a studio, like switching from freelancing and just getting directly the clients, and getting freelancers to help us and do the job. And is it necessary that I work full-time somewhere before I jump in? It just kind of scares me with the whole responsibility. Or...
All right, I think I understand your question here. Okay, you've been freelancing for 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay, you've already been an independent business owner. I don't know why you're hesitant. Why are you hesitant?
Well, I was first 1 year in New York, then in Düsseldorf, then in Berlin. So it feels like I've always been new, in different places. So that's why I'm hesitant.
Okay,
so
there's many strategies on how to start your own business. I'm going to give you the Christo approach. You ready? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to start a business. The easiest way is to go to work for somebody where you can see a pretty clear path towards you getting closer and closer to the business decision makers, whether it's the creative director, whether it's a company owner. In a company that's got thousands of people, the path forward is going to be very difficult, right? And you may make it very clear to the people who are interviewing you for a position to say, like, I love design, I'm going to do great design for you, but I'd like to be involved in some of what's going on with the leadership team. I want to understand how you guys work with clients because I think I can contribute to that. Okay? Mm-hmm. So are you guys open to that? Yes, we are. Great. Yeah. That's where you go.
Well, I was first 1 year in New York.
What's going on there? I'm getting a feedback loop, guys. Okay. So you want to try to find a place where you can see how you're going to plug into the management and leadership team, if that's available to you. Like if you can work with the producers and see how they build their budgets, and you can go to presentations, that's going to help you out a lot. It's going to take a lot of the fear and the unknown away from you. Okay? You got that so far? So that's one way to do it. Or you can do it crazy style like my style, which is I have no experience, I barely worked anywhere, I'm just gonna start a company because I'm a crazy person. I just love risk or something, right? Because I'm just too cocky or too arrogant. I'm just gonna go for it. How can I possibly fail? Like, of course clients are gonna love this, and of course it doesn't turn out like that. Then another way that you can do this is you can hire a coach, somebody who's in this space that knows how to talk to you, that you feel like a good connection with, and they can walk you through the process. They can teach you what you need to learn. So why would you do it? Why wouldn't you do it? One is you don't have money. Two is if you have time, then you should do it another way because you'll save money. There's lots of different ways to do this. You can go to community college and take some courses in business, marketing. They're not great, sadly, but at least you can do some of the initial legwork and just learn the fundamentals so that you're not spending that money either paying a coach or doing it some other way, okay? You need to learn about marketing, sales, and customer service. If you can learn those three things, you should go into business for yourself. Marketing, sales, customer service. That's it. All right? So let me explain those to you guys because sometimes people don't understand. Marketing is about getting the word out, right? Learning how to talk about your value proposition, to make it clear to other people so that they would be interested in you. Now, luckily, we live in a time and age where marketing is a lot easier with all the platforms that are out there. Next thing is sales, is when you get the meeting, what do you do in the meeting? Are you selling through curiosity? Are you asking really great open-ended questions? Are you discovering things? Are you trying to solve a business problem? And lastly, once you close the job, because you're a great salesperson, once you close the job, you need to deliver amazing customer service, how to manage the project, how to not only meet but exceed the client's expectations. If you do that, you got a winning formula. Easier said than done, but those are the kind of the rough outlines. At least now you know where to search, okay? All right. Thanks for taking...
YouTube?
Okay, hold on. Let me say goodbye to her. Thanks for asking your question, and thanks for taking off your glasses for the question. Appreciate it. All right, YouTube.
Yep.
Come strong.
To that last question.
Go ahead.
So, this is from Scott Pearson. I work at home. How do I manage and maintain a professional relationship with my clients without having a studio space?
Okay, that's a great question from Scott Pearson. Scott Pearson, is this Aaron's brother?
Yeah, they're cousins.
Oh, they really?
No.
Aaron, you bastard. Okay, Scott Pearson is asking this question. I work from home. How do I get clients? Because I just work from home, right? I want to appear to be very professional. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this. For the first 5 years of our business, doing multi-million-dollar accounts, I work from home. It mostly is a mentality. If you do professional work, and I don't hide the fact that I work from home, the very first office that we were in was in a downtown loft in downtown LA. It was in a loft, and we worked right out of it. I literally walked upstairs and put on my clothes and walked back down and met with the clients downstairs. Now, I made a curtain, I built out a wall and all that kind of stuff. I didn't hide the fact that I lived there. They didn't really care, and we did the work. The next place we moved to was our house in Venice, and that was also our home. And clients parked on the street and walked down a weird alley and walked in the door, and I made sure I did the best that I could with the resources that I had to make that feel like a very inviting environment. And they came in like, wow, this is really cool. Cool office. I'm like, great, I live upstairs. I don't really care. Okay, I had assistants working for me at that time. I had a custom refrigerator just for the client with all the best beverages or food or snacks, so they felt that they were being treated in a professional manner. Okay, so you guys, it's okay to work from home. I think you should just embrace it and not try to hide it and not to feel embarrassed by it, and it's totally okay. Now, some of my employees, they weren't as confident as me. Like, should we meet somewhere else? I'm like, you can meet somewhere else, but this is where I'll meet. I don't really care. If they buy into all that stuff, they're not the right client for me. And guess what? I don't think it ever hurt us until I could afford enough money to open a studio, and then we moved to the studio. So if you think it's a problem to work at home, you got to get over yourself. Do what you can to be a professional person. Dress the part, play the part, have the support team that you need, and find the clients that are okay with that. Okay, and one thing that I can say to people is this, is that you make your weaknesses your strengths. This is guerrilla warfare. Make your weaknesses your strengths. So if you don't have a fancy place, you don't have an office, just tell them, look, I keep my overhead low. I pass the savings on to you. More of what you pay me will appear on screen than it will appear in appearances, okay? Like when we have a big fancy studio, I had to charge you more. If you want to pay more, I'll meet you over at this hotel and we'll rent out a room. Who's gonna pick that option? All right, any more questions? It's getting kind of late. I am kind of hungry.
Angry Chris.
I'm not hangry yet. All right, dude. All right, this guy with the guitar, he's waving his hand. I'm gonna unmute him. I'm gonna spotlight you. Boom. Are you gonna sing your question to me?
No, not really.
I think you have to, brother. If you come in with a guitar, you gotta sing the question. Come on. Play the guitar. That can't be a useless prop. Never bring a prop to this call or this show. Let's go ahead and play us a few things. Go ahead.
All right.
Rock out for us, dude.
I'm not really a singer, but
okay.
That was my question.
Ask your question. Just say your question. Keep playing the guitar and ask your question.
How do you find clients overseas? And how do you assure them that you're the least risky option and that they can rely on you, even though you're so far geographically away from them?
Perfect. First of all, what's your name?
My name is Vlad.
Vlad?
Yes.
And where are you calling from, Vlad?
I'm calling from Kazakhstan. It's about 2 a.m. here.
Okay, Vlad, thanks for being such a great sport. I like that you're in a recording studio or something like that. Very nice. Okay. Hair game's on point. I'll just point out all the positive things. Okay, Vlad, you want to know how you can work with overseas clients and be the least risky option, right?
Yeah, and I could give some more context just to get more in-depth answer. So, I'm 18 now. I just graduated high school.
Oh, okay. Starting young, I like that.
I want to open my own creative agency in Delaware State, so a limited liability company, and just get some international clients, because we don't have businesses in Kazakhstan that can there's always a competition, but those competitors are not good enough. They're not putting good enough work.
Okay.
So
let me just jump in here before you give me too much detail. You're in the United States?
Nope, I'm in Kazakhstan right now.
I don't know. Oh, Kazakhstan. Okay, I sorry. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to get, first of all, you're young, which is a good thing. Okay. You can take more risk. Your overhead. Oh, okay. Is that you or who's that? Who's making all that noise? You're about to get bounced. Let me look for you right now. You little rat. Why are all your mics on, you guys? Mute yourself. I'm gonna mute everybody right now.
Can you just solo the one guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute everybody, and then I'm gonna unmute you. If I can do that. Where are you? All right, Vlad, unmute yourself. I can't find you now.
Yeah.
Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I can hear.
All right, cool. All right. Whew. It's about to go thermonuclear on you guys. Okay. Vlad's from Kazakhstan. He's 18 years old. He wants to work with international clients. And the fact that he asked me, I want to be the least risky option, how do I do that? It tells me you've been paying attention to the things I'm saying, right? Clients don't hire the best option, they hire the least risky option. So there's lots of things. I want to ask you this question. I want you to think about this. What objections are your clients going to have that are from overseas? What are they going to be concerned about with you? And I'm going to write them down as you say them, okay? What's the number one objection? What's the number two? What's the number three objection? What do you think it is, Vlad?
I think the first one. That's pretty hard.
I'm going to help you out, okay? I already know all the objections for you. Since we're on a time limit, I'm going to get hungry pretty soon. So, objection number one, you are too young. My God, you can't even drink yet. You're too young, okay? Number two is you're in a totally different time zone. I don't know when to call you and all that kind of stuff, right? Number three, are you going to disappear with my money? Right? What's going to happen if I have an issue? Okay, so let's answer those questions one at a time. This is part of my selling strategy course. I teach you to think about the client's objections so that you know what they are ahead of time, and you bring them up front. So you're going to respond to these ahead of time. You got that? So respond. Here's the client objection. Vlad, you're too young. You're not experienced enough. What are you going to say back to that?
Well, I've been doing like web design, earning on web design on a freelance since I was like 11 years old.
Okay.
I have like a solid portfolio, like many, about like 30 websites, and the last 5 of them were for corporate, like big firms.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to teach you this. I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these in detail. We're going to end on you, okay? We're going to end it on Vlad, unless somebody has some amazing things to say. The first thing that you need to do, and I'm going to teach you this concept, it's called embrace and pivot. When somebody brings up an objection, you should just embrace it right away. So if I say you're too young, you are going to say back to me, you are right, I am very young. Just so that I don't fight you anymore, okay? You're right, I'm very young. Tell me what the average age of the person you work with right now is. Oh, they're 45. Okay, that's what they'll say. And you're like, do you like 45-year-old ideas? Do you like the results that you're getting from these old people? Oh, so we're talking because you like fresh ideas, and I grew up on the internet. I've been working since I'm 11 years old. So I have 7 years of digital experience, and I'm going to bring some fresh thinking to you. I hope that you can appreciate that. And if you weren't any wiser to the fact, you looked at my body of work and you like the work you see, right? They're going to say yes. Okay, that's how we overcome that objection. You got it? Objection number 2. You're in a weird time zone, dude. Respond.
Yeah.
How do you respond?
I don't know, I can sleep at daytime and just, I don't know.
Okay,
yeah,
so, all right,
hours.
so now you're showing me you're a 17 or 18-year-old. You're not ready to go. So you need to know what the objections are ahead of time. You need to like work through these things, practice with people, understand this, because the first time you hear this objection shouldn't be with an actual real client ready to pay you. You should be working on this already, okay? Be prepared for the objections. As a business owner, it's your duty to know what the objections are ahead of time. Here's how I'm gonna respond for you, okay? All right, you're right. There's an 8-hour difference, okay? There's one of 2 ways we can do this, Mr. and Mrs. Client, okay? One is you can send me your notes and we can chat on scheduled calls and I'll make it easy for you. And then what I do is while you're sleeping, I'm working. So you don't lose any time in me just waiting for you to give me feedback. I find that to be a great advantage. If you're not comfortable with that, I will readjust my day to match your time. So I will get up at 3 a.m. and I'll go to sleep at 4 p.m. to match your time. This will be a non-issue. I've done it with this client, and that client, and it worked beautifully. I don't want to make the time zone difference a problem for you. How does that sound? Okay, the last objection. You know what? My money is not safe with you. Are you going to disappear? I'm not going to give you the answers to that. Leave you guys on a cliffhanger. You figure out that objection, you do some homework, and you figure it out, okay?
All right.
Does that help you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
And when you make a ton of money, go send me some.
Okay. You're actually the first native speaker that I spoke to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you calling me a native speaker? Because I'm not a native English speaker. I'm an ESL speaker, but that's cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. You guys, I think I want to wrap up the show. And nobody's like going bananas on me right now. I'm going to wrap up the show. I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTube and Facebook Live audience. I hope you guys enjoyed this more conversational format. I suppose next time, if you guys want to be part of the conversation, you should join us on Zoom. We'll give you details. Look at all these wonderful, beautiful people, okay? I'm going to sign off right now, guys. See you guys next time. Like this episode if you like it, comment below, and we'll make sure we follow up with